What's up, Performa Heroes, Performa Nation? Welcome to the Performa POPcast. I'm your host, Peter Surs. You guys hate me. It's okay. You're stuck with me. We are very happy to have our guests. This will be our first time we're having two guests at a time, but you guys will see why. Sean and Holly Covell are entrepreneurs. They are IFBB Pro Bodybuilders. So this is actually, you guys are the second guests that have been in better shape than I am, which
okay.
It makes me, yeah, I mean, it makes me a little upset, but it's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. Usually, like, I'm like the one that's, but you know, we love it.
Instead of people hating you, you can hate me.
I don't hate you. I respect
right.
it. It just, you
no
know,
discussion of hate. We're just gonna
it's just humbling. Like, I'm gonna go, you know, not eat any carbs the rest of the day. But anyway, so they are the owners of a fitness company, gym,
fitness system.
Yeah, yep. Fitness system. That's what I was trying to say. And you guys have them in California and Florida, right?
I got done jackhammering a floor an hour ago in Florida.
Oh wow.
We are
awesome.
Yeah, hopefully we will be open in 4 to 5 weeks. We are really moving quickly on that project, and
great.
We're excited to be expanding out on the East Coast in the sunshine, and still love California, but we're going to be bi-coastal for a little bit and see how that kind of works.
That's the way to do it. I'm right now I'm bi-statal, I guess. It's because there's no coast here. Yeah, I don't know what you call it. But I was pleased to learn that you guys are high school sweethearts, which is just the cutest thing. You guys have been married 17 years, or together for 17 years.
Yes.
But married for how long?
It'll be 12 years this year.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so I got some fun facts about Sean before we start. You like history, you like comics, and you do combat training. Oh, there we go, right there.
Heroes.
But also, you're an actor, and you have performed at Carnegie Hall.
Yeah, I have done many things. I've worn many hats. So I love theater. I actually won an acting award in the Sacramento area for musical theater, and I was in a singing group, the Woodland Chamber Singers, and we sang at Carnegie Hall, and that's
crazy,
amazing. We got a standing ovation, and it was something never ever forget ever. So especially, I mean, I don't even know honestly if I'll go back to New York City anytime soon. So that was like a very fond, perfect memory of you know.
I mean, what's like New York as a performer? I mean, Carnegie Hall, like, I mean, other than like, I guess maybe Radio City Music Hall, like,
no,
like that's it. Like that's like the pinnacle, right? Like, what do you do after that? It was
so like electrifying, honestly. Even warming up backstage, you know, there's pictures of, you were there. There's pictures of people that have performed and graced the halls, and it's dignitaries, and you know, I mean, the most powerful people in the world, the best singers in the world, the best musicians in the world, the best bands, orchestras, everything in the world,
right?
And you are just like, I don't know, it's just kind of electrifying. You just sit there and absorb this energy and just pray that you don't mess up. While these pieces of these idols, just like your idols just look down on you.
Right.
You know, you pray that they give you the power instead of like.
I will say, like, there was many rehearsals before that I had been to, and they never quite got it. They were like 85, 90%.
This is true.
That night, I swear, best performance ever.
It's the magic of Carnegie Hall.
There really is. It like the best performance.
That is true.
Flawless.
Especially one song. There was, like you said, it was so,
the Hallelujah one.
It was so difficult. There was like an 8-part, and it was, you know, there was a couple soloists, and it was just a very, very difficult
coming
piece.
in at different times in the song.
And it was one of those, you just praying that everyone's paying attention, and everybody was perfect. And then we stopped, and it was just like, everyone got up and just amazing.
Like you did the damn thing in Carnegie.
Exactly. Yes, we did it. So that, that was an amazing, probably, like you said, it was maybe like the pinnacle. Hopefully I'll do something amazing in my life. But that was,
I'm thinking like, I could tell you're an artist because of how you can like appreciate the history of it all. Cause like there's certain as a comic, I'll go to comedy clubs and I'll see like the pictures of who's been there, and you're just like, it's crazy to think like, wow, like Jerry Seinfeld was on this stage, or Dave Chappelle, like, and I'm here right now too. Like, I'm a part of this history now. It's just a cool thing.
And I love your industry too, because they're so good at honoring what you guys do. You know, it's so much like theater. It's like, it's a stage performance. There's nothing like it. So it comes back fully, absolutely. And people, love the arts again. And we're not on Zoom.
Right. Are you the only IFBB pro to have performed at Carnegie Hall? I think you might be. I don't.
Yeah, I don't have the answer to that.
I can't think of anybody else now that I think about it.
How are we going to find that out, though?
I feel like we could Google it.
Amazing. That's an amazing decision. Thank you.
And then Holly's been the hype man, but Holly is also IFBB pro as well. And also, I heard you like making crafts and all sorts of things, but you're also a children's author.
Yes.
You wrote a children's book.
I did. It's available on Amazon. It's called Princess Soup, and it was inspired by a nickname that we came up with for our daughter Charlotte when she was really little. So like that was her nickname, and then just over the years it sort of brewed into this character in my head, and then I kind of made it finally come to life about 2 years ago. So
that's amazing.
Thanks.
I don't have any kids.
I'm impressed by it.
Thank you.
So those are two. Okay, because what I like to consider myself. I'm a meathead, but like I lean like closer to the middle, right? Yep. Like, cause I dance and I do comedy and whatever, but like those are two very separate things, like that are not what you think about when you think about like bodybuilding. Like you're not gonna.
Exactly.
We walk through many worlds. I think we wear like many hats. Our background's very different, but it was one thing I will say about bodybuilding is it's still on the stage. So, there's still that there's
a performance to it.
Exactly. There's a live performance and when you're on, when you're off,
you have to rehearse. You have to rehearse. Be presentable, the hair, the makeup.
You got the makeup, you got the tan.
The tan.
The lack of costume is what makes it probably unique, but
so you guys met in high school. Let's talk about this because that's like, I'm trying to think of the girls that I dated in high school and I have no idea where they are now. So you get to look every day and be like, oh yeah, we went to high school together. Yeah. So at what part of high school did you guys start dating first off?
So I was a senior. All right, let me go back. So I never really cared about math class in like 9th grade. I liked flirting,
Yeah, of course. So, that's high school.
They should just call it 9th grade flirting class instead of 9th grade algebra class. So I had to retake it. So anyway, we ended up in the same math class. I as a senior and her as a sophomore.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And we sat right next to each other. And I don't know. It was just like right away. I just wanted to talk to her. And the first thing I noticed about her, other than she was beautiful, the first thing I noticed about her, other than she was beautiful and I wanted to know her, was that she had another guy's name written on her hand. And
that's high school, right? That's what you did in high school.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was in 10th grade. Come on.
Why am I blaming you? I just am telling.
That's so funny.
Anyway, so I go, who's that guy? I won't say the name. Who's Jason? Who's Jason? And I don't know. I don't think you expected me to
No, because oh my God, he was so popular. He was like the popular senior, and we had a mutual friend that sat next to us. So that was kind of like my in to oh yeah, well, Whitney and Kim, and we had this little clique, but I would never have talked to him by myself. He was this and I was nothing special back then. So
no.
Continue the story.
I think that's that age difference. That's a bit of being a senior and
the best. Did it all the time. Yeah.
I was in theater and I did have the lead in the high school play.
Oh, okay.
I did do so. Yeah, I can see where she's coming from.
Now? Let me ask you a question. Were you an athlete and in theater?
Yeah, I did. Well, okay, so I transferred high schools my junior year, sophomore year, and freshman year. Even though I was at a junior high that went up to 9th grade, I wrestled varsity. So, and I would do other sports too. So that was kind of like my intro to weightlifting, basically. I mean, honestly, I tell people if you're lifting in high school, those gains you're going to have for the rest of your life. Absolutely guaranteed. Like even the old people I know, they're generally as strong as they were, you know, if they lifted in high school, but they continued on lifting. In other words, they like defying aging to the point where like, oh, okay, I'm back to where I would like started lifting weights again, right? When you're like 16, 17, 18, you know? And I don't know. It was just, you know, that kind of drew me into that world. And I love lifting and I love just, I think like what you're coming from, the comic side and like the physical side, the stage kind of brings those two together, you know, because it's the performance, like the performative act, right? So I'm not sure that there's entirely like a difference, but you're right. There's different worlds. You just happen to dance in a few of them.
Yeah. I just think it like it's like in high school, there's the athletes, and then there's like the, you know, theater nerds, or like I was in dance in high school, but I played baseball, and it was two completely different things. But like you, like I was kind of popular because I did do them both. And so
exactly the same. Yeah.
Okay. And I can imagine for, you know, a young sophomore is like, oh my God, this guy does all these things.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. He was the most popular senior. So
I don't know.
I wasn't, well,
I don't know.
I mean, really.
So now did you guys,
wait, no.
I'm sorry.
I need to prove this point. Okay. So we speed ahead a few years. There was some off and on, etc. Old girlfriend, let's not go there. But when I was a senior, he took me to my senior prom, and we did the grand march where you like walk out and they announced the couples and everybody clapped. Yes. They called Holly Johnson, was my maiden name, Holly Johnson, escorted by Sean Covell. Woo, Sean! Like applause for him. Howard graduated 2 years ago. So yeah, most popular even.
And I had
later
fun
in life,
at that prom, and I had fun at her prom.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's great. So, okay, you went off to college or, you know, something?
I went to junior college, and I actually got a job right after high school. I got a job in radio. So that's what I thought I wanted to do, you know, just kind of like doing the communication thing. And I did. So I became an editor at KFBK Radio, and a couple other jobs doing, you know, producing and call screening and a bunch of stuff. But I landed as an editor. And that kind of didn't work out, and you didn't like the university you were at, and we both wanted to transfer, or you wanted to transfer bad. So you wanted to go to San Diego. So I applied to San Diego. I was at a community college at the time while I was working at the radio station, and we both got accepted. And
because you took some time off, so it worked out that we were going to go.
I was working. That was the first thing.
The last 2 years of college together and graduate the same.
Oh yeah, so we graduated college together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, moved down to UC San Diego, went there for 2 years to finish up. So.
Oh, great. That's Tritons.
Yes.
Yes. Tritons.
Right on. Go, Peter.
We've got no football team.
We were nerds.
Baseball.
We were
like
the non-party school. Yeah,
They're great. They're great in baseball, though. I'm pretty, or not great, but like they have a, you know.
Yeah.
They had a basketball team and stuff. I don't know. We weren't really. No. I was in communication and she was in theater, so we would like art. Yeah, and
art. Okay.
So we would go to like theater things though.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just never went to sports. It wasn't really like a big,
so we didn't go out.
Exactly. We never really got to enjoy San Diego when we were there because we had zero money. And I was working as a trainer, 4 a.m., driving 20 miles. The thing about San Diego is like you're from SoCal, dude. It's huge. So we were technically in La Jolla, but our address was in San Diego because you're right on the other side of the street where the bus picks you up. So I would drive 20 minutes and I'm still in San Diego on the freeway, you know, and doing that every morning and then doing school. So and then we got the opportunity to purchase a club. Before we transferred, I worked as a personal trainer after radio. I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh no.
So that's an important part of the story actually, because I don't know if I would have gotten into health and fitness. And then you probably would. I don't know. But anyway, I decided that I done like weightlifting before because of, you know, wrestling in high school and stuff like that. But my dad has rheumatoid arthritis. So Essentially they were like, look, don't work out, take these immunosuppressant drugs. Yeah. Take these immunosuppressant drugs. And
why do doctors always, I mean, I'm sure doctors know what they're doing, don't get me wrong, but like that happens a lot. We're like, yeah, don't exercise. You're like, yeah, maybe.
I just was so like that to me. And that's the thing, is not every doctor says that. So like it's practicing medicine, right? So I won't go there, but anyway, I knew that was not the right thing for me.
Yeah.
Okay. I just knew that. So like, I believe that I own my body, and I just know, I was very in tune with it. I'm like, look, the only thing that makes me feel good is working out. And that must be the ticket to something, because I was in pain every other time I wasn't working out. So then I realized, okay, if I can clean up my diet and get like the inflammation and the rest of the, the world under control, like not just, I can eat and then go eat McDonald's, or lift and go eat McDonald's. Like a lot of people, it's like, as long as I'm working out. No, that's not exactly the way it works. Like you can look good, but what has to happen to your body to stay looking like that is really bad for you. Like the amount of damage to your body is not good. It's better just to do it, the right way, the natural way.
Right.
And, it was the diet that really was able to kind of get my inflammation under control. And then that helped me lift more. And then that really kind of kickstarted my, like, I wonder how, if I can push this. Like, I'm always kind of like the stage, and I haven't done theater in a while, but I'm kind of like got some muscles now. So maybe I can show off my little muscles on stage. Right. And I won the lightweight division, my first show.
No kidding.
I think I weigh right now how much? No, more.
Yeah.
I weigh more right now than he weighed on his first stage show, and he got first in bantamweight.
No way.
Lightweight, yeah. So, and then we took time off. Like, I love competing, and then we took time off, and then we had kids, and we opened a couple of clubs, and you had a bunch of side hobbies, and you were, I don't know, writing books and baking and doing things and helping me build the business. And
So Holly, this whole time when he started competing, did you also start competing at the same time?
No, not at all. Because so his first show experience, it was when we were still in college in San Diego, and it was a rough one because it was like, I think you committed like 6 weeks out.
I had no idea.
And we were not educated at all. So
crash diet, did not add seasoning, did not add salt, did not do, he
basically starved himself for about 6 weeks.
I started at 180. I was on stage at 134.
In 6 weeks?
6
weeks.
Oh God.
Shredded.
So
don't get me wrong.
He looked good, but it was like when I was watching him go through, I'm like
mad all the time. Yeah.
No, never.
Mad all the time.
Mad, yeah. So, but I loved watching him. Was happy to support and make the food and all of that. And so we would train together, and I would help him kind of. But like back then, I wasn't.
She helped me.
I did, but but like we weren't really training like that together.
We worked out together, kind of, but she would like go do her own thing, and I would like call her over for a spot.
I'd go on the step mill and stuff.
Right.
But then he took a break from competing after 3 shows.
And then we did.
And then we had kids.
I won every show, by the way. My division.
Oh, nice.
Respect. We had kids. We had our daughter Charlotte in 2012 and our son Hendrik in 2014.
Yep.
And it was a year or so later, I was like going through that like really yucky period. I'm like, I feel fat. And I didn't bounce back.
We would go shopping at the mall. She's like, I want to go get some clothes. I'm like, no problem, babe. When we go in there, and then she's in the Nordstrom, like changing room, and she's crying. I'm like, that's like, nothing.
My self-esteem is so
fat. I'm like, you're not fat. I'm so fat.
I don't care. I wasn't like that, but I definitely played that game like, honey, like.
It's totally true, and like a lot of women go through it. Honestly, a lot of women go through it, and I knew this like as a trainer too, because a lot of it's hormonal. You're not, like you can't expect to feel that your feelings are coming a lot from your hormones. And like, we need to understand that comes a lot from how we're moving, what we're eating, like the situations that we're in, like the things we're putting in our body, like, like there's a lot of toxins out there that can destroy your hormones. And, if you've had kids, you're not necessarily the same person emotionally.
Right.
And that doesn't mean you're not the same person, but it does mean that you're not the same person emotionally. And I think a lot of moms will tell you that, but she wanted to see if she could get back into shape.
So that was the thing, is like, okay, I need to like get into better shape where I feel good about myself, but I'm the worst at that. Like, I think I put in my bio, like, I like to bake. Like, I love me some baked goods.
Yeah.
And I'd like to show my love for my family that way. I love to host parties, so all of that. So I would put myself on a diet and then just fall off, because it wasn't like real, like, you know,
it wasn't like a way of eating. It was just like, it was
like, okay,
this.
I'm gonna diet. It wasn't, there was no, what am I trying to say? Structure or commitment, or, there were like,
something to strive towards, like
yes.
A goal. That's
I guess a goal, but no one to be held accountable. Thank you. Like, no one to be held accountable. So I think I had watched, you know, started getting into the IFBB and watching shows a little more, like, but I was like more in love with the bikini, because I didn't think I could go for figure, which is actually what I do now. I loved Amanda Latona, India Paulino, these girls, like, I just, my girls. And so I wanted to do a bikini show. And so I kind of started getting into it, and he and I committed to do one together early 2017. So I'm like, okay, if you know, maybe you can come back, but you can assist me, and like, let's just commit. And I was really
just training her and like trying.
But I needed something to be like, okay, if I'm ever gonna do anything and like really challenge myself, this is gonna be it. I'm gonna give it my go just this once, even if it's just one time, to see what happens. And so I committed to the show. We started training and started eating.
And we still weren't like, it was really hard. We found out it's really hard, two people doing the same show. That was, let me just say that right on top. Like, because we both we had gone from, you want to go from eating as many calories as possible, as many times throughout the day when you start prep. If you're going from 1 or 2 big meals to 6 meals, it doesn't work out well. Your body, it takes a lot of time for your body to adapt, and the weight doesn't drop, and people get super frustrated, and millions of people have had that story, right? So we ended up, she looked for a coach, and she found one. And what ended up happening is John De La Rosa ended up helping both of us. He's a pro, an Olympian, helping coach both of us. And I won the Governor's Cup in the classic physique, and I almost won in bodybuilding. I competed in both, but I lost in bodybuilding to a heavier guy. And she took second in figure, and she ended up doing figure because when she started dieting down, she actually had a lot more muscle. And what ends up happening is, like, a lot of times people diet down and they lose a lot of muscle right away.
Right.
But she's a lot more gifted than I am genetically. Her dad like had muscle too. Like, he did a, body recomposition challenge, and he was able to she's just got good genetics for it.
Okay.
So
lucky.
Switched to figure.
Exactly. She switched to figure, got second in her first show. I thought she should have won. A lot of people thought she should have won. So, and then, yes.
And then I just fell in love with it, and it just instantly became part of our lifestyle. And so now, I mean, not right this second, because
right now we're building a gym. So yeah, we're not eating 6 meals a day. I did have a donut today. I'm sorry about that.
But like, it just became so much a part of my life, and how like I got a 6-pack after having kids. I've never had a 6-pack in my entire life until after having kids. So it was the greatest. But it was just the greatest achievement for me personally. So I just fell in love with the sport, and I was so grateful to the sport and the people in the industry.
It's a cool community.
It's a great,
It's a lot of people that don't always get their due. It's a lot of people that don't always get their pay, like comics, right? I'm sure but it's like a lot of people that stop laughing. A lot of people that just support each other no matter what. At the end of the day, if you ask anyone why they do what they do, that's always the answer.
They love it.
And it's the culture, it's the community. They love that shit. So
it's one of those things. I think it's come up here on this podcast, but I talk about it all the time. It's like, I forget who said it, and I'm sorry, whoever said it, I keep quoting you, but it's like, what would you do if money wasn't an issue?
Right. Yeah.
And for me, it's like, well, this is what I would do.
It's so funny. I literally was having this conversation with John. He's helping me, with the gym. I said, like, the guy that I bought my first gym from, we went on a cruise to Italy, and he was just going around like asking same question, like, what would you do if money wasn't a question or money wasn't an object? What would you do? What would you do? And he was a gym owner. He's like, I would work at a gym. He just loves it. He loves working at the front desk, just talking to people. That's what he loves, and that's what I love. So,
so let's talk about, because I know we're going to get into this, and we got to get into this. You guys own gyms. Started in California, which is where I'm from. And obviously, I'm very opinionated about this, and I know you guys are too.
Let's do it.
We lived in a state where they decided that during a pandemic that affected people that were not healthy, that
Correct.
They would close the gyms, which are things that would obviously help us be more healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they took the basketball hoops off the park, or off the outside, and they caution taped the park. So the tools that would keep us healthy, they took away from us, and then rewarded us with fast food.
Yes, it's okay to go to. It's okay. I'm not making this super political. We're just talking facts.
Well, that's what happened. That actually just happened. Yeah.
Right.
Regardless of who made that happen. That's the facts, and we've not been talking about health.
They said, it was okay to go get fast food or whatever restaurant or takeout delivery, but you could not go to the gym to work out. And initially, obviously none of us knew what this was.
For sure.
Like especially if you watch the news, we're watching the news. I'm crying because it's like, oh, they're saying that we're all going to die. Basically,
we're dead.
Yeah. Like they said that half the state was going to get it. And, all these, and obviously a lot of people have been affected. But so obviously you guys you work out yourselves, but as business owners, you guys decided, well, we know better because this is our life. So you guys took.
So let me cut you off though. So not at first, like we agree with you. At first, we played it very cool.
Right.
We shut down. We're supposed to. We were sanitizing our groceries.
Yeah.
We weren't sure either. So it's not that we knew better. It was we didn't know at first.
Right.
But then there became a point where it was like, okay, now this
at
seems
about
a little
3
fishy.
weeks. That's when,
because it was only 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
It was the whole thing.
So
was supposed
March,
to be done in
slow the curve, flatten the curve.
March 13th, it was the national declaration. March 14th was my birthday the next day. I spent the early morning part of my birthday saying, I wrote an email to all of my members saying, we are staying open. This is why. These are our protocols. The problem with that is that, like you said, no one knew what this was. So we tried to stay open, but the social pressure was crazy. It was insane.
Especially in California.
Is like the cancels just started crazy. I'm like, okay, that's what we're going to stop. Like we're freezing billing, we're cutting access, we're doing all that, Wow. So then about 3 weeks go by. I'm getting calls from, like the Sacramento Bee. I'm getting calls from other places like, hey, how long can you stay in business like this? And like a very just, kind of like, yeah, they're doing a story about how hard it's going to be, but almost like, hey, how long can you stay alive? And I said, well, I don't have any debt for one. Like that's honestly the reason why I think why we're okay and our competitors aren't.
Yeah.
But I said, this isn't going to last 3 months. And I was sure it wasn't going to last 3 months.
Same. Yeah.
May rolls around and I, a couple weeks before I had contacted a constitutional attorney because I knew this was a constitutional issue. And I'm like, I took AP history. I love history. I study communication. So my knowledge of the Constitution, my knowledge of the law, I studied criminal law. I studied law. I've done a lot. I knew that our fundamental rights are being trampled on, regardless of whatever the excuse was. That the Bill of Rights is the Bill of Rights. It's a right. And now your rights don't come from it, but it codifies your rights, right? You have rights as a human. That's what I believe. You own your body. No one else has claim to your body. If you say that somebody else has claim to your body, I want to know who, right? So if the state is saying shut down, then the state essentially is saying they own my business, they own my body, they own all my members' bodies because they can tell them what to do.
Right.
I just don't agree with that. So we were going to open back up. We declared publicly that we were going to open back up.
Oh, you made it public.
Yeah, we made it public.
Oh, good for you.
We were going to open up because everyone was shut down. So I sent out an email, and again, the media called as soon as I sent out the email. We posted it, and then we had 4 cops come to arrest me, and I wasn't there. My employees were there, and essentially, they said, look, if you open, you're going to be charged and we will arrest you. And that county, San Joaquin County, called my other counties that I operate in, and they called my attorney and said, we're going to arrest your client. So they all colluded against us. And so
it's like washing over me.
Exactly. So right now, this lawsuit is actually in the 9th Circuit. It's been almost a year. It takes time in the court. So we'll see. California's still under, partial lockdown. So we're living in now. But all that essentially led to us. Eventually, we just said, F it, we're reopening. We didn't charge anyone, until about August, but we let people work out because suicide was on the rise. Everyone was upset.
We were getting
messages
in our Instagram from our members, and we know these people personally. I've made some of my best friends from members from our club. So I'm getting messages from these people how they've returned to alcohol. They were former alcoholics, and now they have nothing else. And the gym was my outlet, and this was my stress relief, and I'm going crazy at home, and all of these things. And it was heartbreaking getting some of these messages. So we just. So for a little while, we started making appointments for the people that were really,
we
really
did what we could to let everyone work out. And eventually I just said, look, this is now a political protest. We had recall Gavin Newsom signs out, and we opened up and we made it a political protest. We bought a billboard on Highway 99 and said, Save California, recall Newsom, signed We the People. And we weren't going to put anything on it. We just wanted anonymous, but they made us put paid for by Fitness System Health. So that's okay. But that was
it helped a lot, actually.
Exactly. But essentially, that was our only way of saying, look, all these places are open. There's a ton of stuff going on right now where people aren't social distancing. They're not wearing masks in the name of protests and all these other things. These people care about their health. They care about their bodies. They want to work out. And look, in the New York Times yesterday, it just came out, oh, by the way, if you exercise, that really, 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 really reduces your risk of getting COVID or especially dying from COVID. So I'm
no kidding.
So a year ago, I was telling people this. Now what? Now it's okay because now the year later, the New York Times says it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's so sad because how many gyms do you guys have?
We have 3 operating. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, have 1.
So, you have these, these huge companies like a 24-hour fitness or an Equinox, they're going to be fine. Right. Cause maybe.
I mean, that's the thing.
Right.
This thing really kind of affected this industry, especially in a way, because if you just stop, billing altogether, your employees are gone. And that's what I really resent my competitors for doing, because even the few weeks we kind of pushed it until the threat of arrest, and then even then we were reopened right away after I said, look, this is a protest. They instantly shut down, fired their employees, boom, it was done. And I was I get it in a way, but in another way, we love our employees.
Right.
Yeah. What am I going to do?
Some of them are
say, I'm sorry, you can't feed your kids today because the state says that we can't let people work out. So I'm sorry. It's I take it very personally because we narrowly escaped bankruptcy. We only made it through the other side because the stand we took, because there's still, tons and tons of people that believe in individual liberty and here's the thing, man. If we really believed the state on everything, we would be following the food pyramid and we'd all be fat and obese. So let's just listen to everything they have to say forever, because everything they told us is always good. And let's add sugar to everything too, because it tastes awesome. Right. And corn syrup's great because it's federally subsidized. I'm sorry.
What is it? 8 to 12 servings of bread per day?
It's insane.
Yeah.
Do you know I mean, you know, like sometimes you got to go no carb, not 8 to 12 servings, 0 servings of carb. 0. And some people are like, oh my God, that's like, how do you get your this and how do you get your that? I'm like,
you eat.
Well, you eat, you just don't eat 8 servings of carbs. Pasta. That was the bottom of the food pyramid.
That's what I'm saying.
That forever, right? I'm like, okay, that must be real, you know. And like my point is like, we need to pay probably better attention to who we're paying attention to.
100%.
Right? Like who is it that we're getting our information from? Because, you know, I mean, honestly, if you're just using your regular, you know, standard browser, you're probably not going to find a lot of things. But if you're using like DuckDuckGo, you'll find the study that you were looking for that, you know, maybe like the things that we're using right now to mitigate this really aren't that effective. And there's a lot of things that show that. But do you see that every night on the news? No, you see like a death tracker. So if you're scared and you are scared of like a sickness, are you more likely to get that sickness or less likely to get that sickness? You know, if I stand like this, am I going to feel more powerful or less powerful, or like this? It's so obvious that like, I can't believe, Peter, that we forgot that as a society. I like 100%. Honestly, like you bringing that up right now, like, I'm sorry, man.
No, we're good. I've been talking about it.
People that are like, I mean, they don't think that they're like anyone should go out or work out or like they think the whole world should just stop. And like everything has ramifications, man. Everything. You know,
I was talking about it. People were getting so mad at me because I left LA to come to a place where I could work out. But then as a comic, like as a comic, I got to, you know, go to like I was going, you know, I'll perform like in Arkansas, Dallas, like all these different places where the gyms are open. And I'm like, and it's fine. Like, you know, like you said, they're taking precautions. They're over sanitizing things, which is totally fine. Yeah.
I'm super concerned about MRSA just wiping out humanity, honestly, right? There's going to be the stories. Okay. Let's look at the stories of 2019 versus 2020. Don't let your kids on iPads too much. Don't let them on technology. Now they're 24/7 because they have, right? Okay. Don't like, make sure you get a bunch of face-to-face contact. The most important thing is like loving another person. You want to touch them. Now stay 6 feet apart. You know, it's like, I mean, everything got twisted on its head to where it's like, we essentially know the things that make us feel good as humans. You know, we know like the supplements we need. We know we need to work out. We know who we need to be around regardless. It used to be when somebody was sick, we used to go run and try and take care of that person. We never had a thought about like, oh my God, like how many, you know, people did I accidentally kill? Because that's not what people do. That's not how you operate in the world. Like you live your life doing what you can to add value to other people. And if you can't do that, you know, that's on you. You know what I mean? Like that's you being selfish. But it's not selfish for me to do what comes naturally. And that's working. That's breathing deep. That's like, you know, like talking with you and about, you know, my beliefs and stuff. That is what is selfish of you to ask me not to do. Right? That's selfish of you to ask me not to do something that I love. That I care so much about. You know, like it's like asking me not to sing anymore. I'm like, no, I probably won't. I just said
no singing in church.
No singing in church. I'm like, I was sitting behind a jackhammer, like digging up tile and stuff for, you know, 10 hours a day, singing the entire time, because that's what gets you through. You know, so I hope the world doesn't forget how to be human. You know, we live in like this post-human society now, but like,
I also hope that
there's a lot of world satisfaction in being human.
I hope that we learn, not we, but everyone learns that like our like people should, as fitness people, we get it, but like I think everyone hopefully learns that you should take better care of yourself.
I want everyone to work out. I don't care if they go to my gym or not. I just want them to go to a gym right now, because we have seen the consequences of not. Look at what's happening. Like this is the consequence of not really focusing on the gym and instead focusing on like, just take 3 a day. You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's For what? Heart disease, no problem. Like, let's take 3 a day. I have had 3 really close friends, including my personal attorney, Brian Chavez Ochoa, and his legal team's doing a fantastic job. He is off statins just from like a diet that I gave him. Wow. Like, hey man, you saved my life. He had 5 heart attacks in 2019. And it's like, God didn't take them, which is great. But also like, you need to take action so you can reverse that stuff. Yeah. Like, the things we're doing now to be like safety doesn't equal health.
It's not 100%.
If you're overcautious, you're not healthy.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You're anxious, it's like,
let's, I see you got like an extensive, action figure collection back there.
Dude, yeah. Can we move a little bit?
Yeah, I could see.
So there we go. Let me get the top one in there. I got the Avengers on the top.
Okay, there we go.
Thanos is on the very top. So then we got the Avengers, the original. Yeah.
And then Star Wars down there.
We got some Star Wars. They got me some Baby Yoda. We got some Shazam, some DC.
Okay.
And Holly makes me put my ladies on the bottom. I think that's really wrong.
Yeah, what the hell, Holly?
You're just like, there was a storyline happening.
Okay,
here, so
there's a storyline. There's a storyline that all the really attractive statues get to be on the bottom shelf. That no one.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
Run with that storyline. I'm gonna run with that narrative right now, so I don't get in trouble.
Do you have
partner on this new gym?
Yeah.
Do you have a? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
On that, so we were in Algebra 2 together. So the name of our new company is A2, and we just said it's like Alpha 2. So that actually comes from the fact that we were in math class so long ago.
Oh, that's great. Do you have a favorite superhero?
I mean, I go back and forth, but at the end of the day, I like Captain America. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that I love. I love that he's worthy, right?
Yeah,
he can become pretty much that's useful. I love that even though he's kind of like underpowered, people follow him.
Yeah.
No.
Was that not the best? So this came up on another one of these, but like, because I miss going to movie theaters, obviously.
Dude, that's another thing. We used to take our kids to every movie that came out. Like every one that would come out, we would go watch it.
I miss it. There's some like, I mean, like it's cool like that you can watch them at home, but I like the sound and the screen. Like there's just
I'm almost bothered. Like don't get me wrong, I'm very much into like personal liberty and choice in the marketplace, but I'm almost bothered that like, because we've kind of seen that our society will take the path of least resistance. So I get bothered when they release stuff on HBO Max right away because like you're not even giving the movie theaters a chance. Like you're not even giving them a chance.
The ArcLight. Do you know? Are you guys familiar with the ArcLights in LA?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever been to one.
I have. They're really nice. Yeah.
No, they were because they're not.
Is that what you heard?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that.
That's like any super fancy movie theater that has like good food, not just movie theater food.
I love the reclining seats and like you can like
ArcLight was the ones that started that. Like that was where you would go, and so it's sad. But the point I was trying to make was that I miss going to movies, but it's because of like the surroundings and the people, the energy, like you say when you're on stage. The moment when Captain America picks up Thor's hammer and the movie theater went crazy, like it was the fucking best, dude. Like
it was so great. Everyone's like, yes,
because like I did not see that coming. Like you know they're gonna win and maybe someone's gonna die, but like you didn't know like. And when I was like, oh my god, like it was the best.
I know. It was just like, it was so that just thinking back on like Infinity War, it was so like emotional. Like we were looking at each other because like each hero, they're getting capped one by one, like dead. And I'm like, I can't take much more of this. And then the end,
first one.
Spoiler alert, and it's like, boom, he snaps.
The entire, so then the audience that time, we're all just kind of looking at each other.
It was somber. I'm sure you remember it. It's like, talking.
Yeah, we all kind of walked out silently.
All right, well, they're all dead, so it's over. You know, I'm like, hopefully Cap can figure out some stuff and come back. Because like I remember that point, like Thanos is like about to kill Thor. You know, he's like got Stormbreaker like on his neck, and then all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden, he lifts it, and then you see it, and like he throws the hammer.
Yeah, the best.
Yeah.
What about you, Holly? Do you have a favorite superhero?
I want to know.
I have favorites just from the movie performances. Like I love Chris Pratt as Star-Lord and Zoe Saldana as Gamora. They're just the two of my favorites. But I think if I could have anyone's powers, it would probably be Scarlet Witch, just because she's a badass and she can do a lot. So did you watch WandaVision? Did you like it? Yeah, I have to. I loved it. Honestly, I was really not confused at first.
Loved it. No, she loved it before I loved it. Yeah. She was like, it's so unique and it's so awesome.
It was like I'd never seen anything like that. So each episode was different. Yeah. But I love the nostalgia. Like I loved like little hints of past shows.
Yeah, there's
and then it escalated to like Catherine Hahn, who I love as Agatha was in there. She's amazing. So like then it turned into, it was this fun, cute thing. And then it turned into this like epic Marvel battle.
Yeah, the Vision battle was pretty good. Yeah. There's a lot to, the Marvel universe and cinematic universe. And like, I love like the comics even, going back. So I love to see new things adapted. So, hoping that like with movies, talking about that movie production gets back, because I don't want to watch the Avengers on my computer.
There's no way that's happening.
I don't want to watch the next Spider-Man. Yeah. I don't like I don't want, like, we started watching, the Zack Snyder cut, and it's like 4 hours long. And I'm like, okay, here's the problem with that, is that I can do anything at my house, just stop and come back to it. I'm not in this. Yeah. If I'm paying and I'm in the seat, I might have to run and pee. I might need another milkshake or whatever, or another popcorn, but I'm going to go fast because I'm engaged. And that's what the screen, and that's what the stage, and it makes you engage. It forces you to be engaged. Like,
it's a moment.
Jokes on stage, you can't just you're just looking at the people like, are you getting my joke? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if you don't, I need to like change what I'm doing. So
it's like in like, obviously there's a lot of comics that have, you go watch Netflix or whatever, Amazon, you see them and it's still funny, but there's something about being in the room right then and there.
We went to, was that the last time we were in LA for my birthday, like 2 years ago?
Joe?
Yeah. She took me to Joe Rogan like 2 years ago at the Ice House in
Yeah.
And that was cool because we had never been there. So that's got history to it too, which I love. That's another thing. Like there's so many comedies that have history that's not just the comedy. It's like the places itself was really cool.
The Ice House is the first actual comedy club in the Los Angeles area. Yeah. Exactly. A lot of people don't know. Yeah, and I had, hopefully when this is, I had a monthly residency there, but we'll see what happens once this is all over with. Yeah. But it was initially like a jazz club.
Yeah.
And then you can't, or like, well, it was initially an actual ice factory.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. So, I mean, there's like, I love it. Like when wineries used to be like butcher shops during Prohibition because they couldn't do whatever. But
or like the comedy store in Hollywood. That used to be like a nightclub that was owned by Bugsy Siegel. Yeah. And people were literally murdered in the bottom of that place. So that's why it may or may not be haunted, but it's cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Comedy club is haunted with the dustbin of dead jokes.
Bad
jokes. You just walk in, you smell them. You're like, oh God, there's a stinker. There's some bad jokes in this one. Oh no, is he still there? Did he go?
I think we're good.
Peter, are you there? Oh.
I don't think it's us.
Are you still there?
Okay, so these next questions are going to be a little bit harder. I'm sorry to do my job. Now, since you guys are business owners, you can apply these questions toward either your business or for bodybuilding, or maybe there's some overlap. What's the one thing you wish you had known before you started your career?
I wish I would have known that I needed better people skills before I started business.
Okay.
Yeah, the things I can do now, because I'm a better person, but like a stronger, I'm just more developed after doing this for so long, we've been doing this almost 15 years now. So, like very early in our relationship, and I wish I would have developed those skills. So for all the young entrepreneurs out there, you're trying to start your business, get around people and get around people of different calibers than you. Get around people that are not your peers, especially if you are the top of your peer group, dude. I mean, like I've been hanging around a lot of contractors lately because I need to know what they know. You need, like, you don't know what you don't know. You need to go out and learn things and learn how to operate in those cultures. Like I told her, there needs to be, like we all have funks in our career. Like she was working at Starbucks and, like I was personal training and we didn't like always have gyms, and I told her, I was like, there needs to be like 8 Hollies, there needs to be like business Holly and fitness Holly, and you need to operate in these different fields. And I think you've gotten really good at
Absolutely. I agree.
One of the greatest honors of my life, honestly, is watching like her grow up. And I know probably me too. Yeah. That's the thing about like being with somebody when they're so young. You either grow your own way together. Like you're driving 2 cars down the highway and you're in the same like way, right? But you're driving separately. You're headed the same way. Yeah. You want to make sure that one person doesn't like, go off in a different direction, or they develop a different blueprint for life or philosophy or anything like that. But yeah, people skills, get around different types of people, get around
your shell.
Yeah. Get around like really, really poor people in other countries to open your eyes up to like how ungrateful you are. And, get around really rich people too. Cause that's the thing, is like, it's not the fact that they're rich a lot of the times, it's who they had to become to get rich. It's like, how do you get 100 employees? Like what type of person do you have to become? That is what I would say. Like, if you don't know how to get what you want, the answer is always, who do I have to become? Always. Yeah. So yeah.
That makes sense. It's like one of those things where it's like, I think the saying's like, if you're the smartest person in your group of friends, get a new group of friends.
Yeah, or you're in the wrong room. Yeah, exactly. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And it's like, it's okay for a little bit, but like any sport, like I used to play competitive racquetball. If I would continue to play people that are worse than me, they're going to get better. I'm going to get worse. Yep. And it's not like if you're not making that much right now, it's not that you're not a valuable person. It's just, you're not valuable in the marketplace. You need to figure out who you have to be in the marketplace. It's not a smack on you. And that's a lot of the problems that people have, is they're not doing well. They're not making a lot, they don't have those people skills. So they say, it must be me. Right. It must be me. And they're right. It is you, but it's the skills that you haven't developed. You haven't put yourself out there. You don't know what you're capable of because you haven't even tried, and it's not even your fault. It's just that no one told you to try. So you got to get out there. Try. Yeah, that would be my advice. You got to try. You got to fail a little bit. You're not going to try without failing.
I fail all the time.
Yeah. The thing too, though, is like the real key to success is knowing why you failed. I think it's like, it's a double-edged sword, because our culture has placed a lot of like emphasis on the word failure. But the word failure is literally like failure. You messed up, like you didn't do it right. Now, if you learn from that, you didn't really fail, because you know what not to do or what to do. But a lot of companies, especially, I've seen this, go bankrupt or they go under, and they don't know why. They think it was X, but it was actually X, Y, and Z. They'll never figure it out. They're like, oh, and that's the way you want to fail and fail fast, but you also got to pivot. You can't just keep failing. I tell my staff, like, don't bring me old problems. Old problems let us know that we haven't progressed. Bring me new problems. I want, like, there's so much money in the cash register that the cash register's overflowing. What do we do? There's not enough parking spots that, like, we need to add parking. We need to pay for new parking. Now, that's a problem, and it's going to cost money, but it's a new problem. or even like just anything new, it means like you're progressing. But if you're bashing your head up against the old problems, it's like, yeah. And that's why a lot of people give up. So.
Well, that's the other thing. I don't think it's a failure until this is not my quote either, but like, you can't fail until you quit.
Yeah. And I think if you learn something, you really didn't fail. Like, because if you can really identify, we used to have, a nutrition company, and I stopped it because I realized that we were doing a lot better, helping more people at the gym, and the marketplace was just crazy. And I can kind of see what was happening with like Amazon and just the consolidation of, different things like that. So, I realized that this is what I did wrong. I can't do this and I don't have the money to fix it. So I'm not going to do it. I do have the money to do this, like just not this other company on a national chain. So I was able to identify why we failed, and that's useful. But like, if I were to open another company and not do that, boom, it's like, I mean, how many restaurateurs have on their 7th restaurant? Oh, just one more time, it's like, man, we gotta like, as a society, we gotta look what works and what doesn't work, right? All the way around, especially right now, what's working, what's not working. Facts, man. No theories. This is just facts. This works, this doesn't work, So it's like, if you're not where you want to be, start embracing what definitely does work. Like, Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues. Jim Rohn before that, so it really does, but you got to know, like, you got to educate yourself so you can pick up on those clues. If you don't pick up on those clues, what's the point?
Yeah.
Just waste.
Do you want to add to that, Holly?
Not necessarily.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned in business?
Yeah. What have you learned?
I mean, I kind of was going to piggyback off of that. Definitely people skills. Cause I'm not even the same person I was beginning of last year before all of this shit went down.
We're very different.
But I'm very different than I was back then. So I think a lot of it was like forcing myself to come out of my shell, especially lately, and educate myself on politics more. The last year, I never used to really be political. And I wouldn't necessarily call myself political, but I pay attention a lot more now.
When your industry gets shut down,
because then it was like, this is directly impacting me and my life and my children. So
and we operate in the same, like we operate in the state capitol. Like our gym is very close. We have like aides of, the defendant, the governor that we're suing, that go to our gym now, that worked out the whole time and didn't say anything. And it's like, that's the thing, is like, it's one thing to disagree with somebody, but it's another thing to realize like, hey, I'm actually benefiting from their philosophy. Like maybe that's kind of useful, like let's focus on like what's working. If like that's making you feel good, working out's making you feel good, reading, meditating, breathing deep, hanging out with friends, if it feels so good, it can't be that bad. You know what I mean? It's true. It's like, if you're moving in a good direction and you're constantly hitting these little wins, that's what you want. Working out every day, that's a win. Like staying hydrated. Like I jackhammered all day. So I like in my shaker, I have HydroCharge just because I'm like, I need electrolytes really bad. Yeah. I can tell like just talking, I'm still kind of dehydrated, but it's like, you recognizing what you need and then actually doing it. Like it's not difficult. It's simple. It's just hard for people to do. Right. And it's like, I could tell you like, here's how to build a gym. Peter, here's how to build a gym. Here's how to do this. Here's how to do that. And you could tell me, okay, here's how you stand on stage and tell a joke. But it's like, it's not going to do it until you've gone through it and you've failed a bunch of times and you've pivoted a bunch of times and you've been around a ton of people. And, that's like every business is a relationship. You're in a relationship with your customers, like us as, we're in a relationship, we're business partners, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. We like to call each other, if you say you're married, it's like just not spicy anymore. It just sucks. So anyway, we are.
Okay. That's good. That's good advice.
It is good advice. Honestly,
act like a boyfriend and
if
girlfriend.
You are acting like a boyfriend and a girlfriend all the time, like that next date's not like guaranteed. It's not secure necessarily. Yeah. Like try
a little harder.
Yeah.
Okay. I like
Everyone wants to take out the trash at the beginning of the relationship. You know what I mean? Like, after 17 years, like we still want to take out the trash for each other.
I like it.
So
this is because I'm actually just curious, and I'm sure there's some other people. So you guys are, both obviously into, you guys are very much bodybuilders that have to compete. So how do you do that while having kids? Because obviously your diet has to be a specific thing, but then go ahead. Well, because
our kids have learned to like some chicken and rice if we put
some
on it. So
but yeah, after that first show, when we both competed at the same time, we realized, because we did that one together, and that was 3 months, and it was all right, we made it work. And then we were going to continue on and go right into the NPC USAs in July, a few months later.
I did. That's where I got.
So he did that. I pulled out because we had to move in there, and I wasn't feeling well, and I was tired. So after that, we decided that one person show prep at a time.
Yeah.
And then the other parent kind of like puts more focus on them, and like, we'll still go out to eat.
So one of us is on a diet, like a real diet, and the other one's on like a half-ass diet.
Yeah.
So the half-ass diet sometimes includes macaroni and cheese and chicken nuggets. Sometimes it includes a hot dog with the kids every once in a while.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might even include like a nice ice cream in the park just to keep them happy. So, like it's not cutting out all of the treats, for the kids, but like our kids eat really healthy too. They both do jujitsu, and we like, cool. They get in trouble, we make them do push-ups. That's our punishment. So like,
awesome.
Yeah, they're very strong. So, they know it's coming, and they're like, I'm like 30. I'm like, so.
And they're very supportive too. I've definitely asked our daughter, she's going to be 9 in a couple weeks, but she's wise beyond her years. And so I asked her previously, because it had come up in the family, about, I'm worried about the children with you guys competing. And I was like, what do you mean? They're so proud. And so I had that conversation with my daughter. And I like, as young as she is.
Do you want me to compete?
As young as she is, she was very sincere. Yeah. She's so proud of us. She loves it. She loves being at the gym. Like they wanted to come.
She practices the posing sometimes.
Oh, she does.
Like
they do posing,
little figure turns. It's great.
But they were at the gym, like working with us today. We just had them like sweeping up some stuff because they love being a part of what we do. So they're
I love that, because I don't have kids yet, but like, I see, obviously I talk about this all the time too, but like, we live in a country that's not, we live in the fattest country, for lack of better terms, right? Yeah. But it starts with the kids, because
100%.
Kids got the phones and the iPads, and it's so like when I was a kid,
around at the kids now.
Yeah, so we just played. We played all day long until the street lights came on, and then my mom would beat my ass if I didn't come inside.
Totally. Same.
But kids now, like, they don't. So like, I think the parents have to set that example.
That too.
Yeah. And they very much are. Our daughter is very aware of like body image. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but she's like, no, I don't want to eat that. It's got too much sugar. And, but she's always but she had just eaten a cookie earlier in the day. So it's not like she's depriving herself of this. She actually knows, if I eat that cookie, I will get fat like the other little kids that I see, and I don't want to be fat. And honestly, that's okay. Sometimes it's okay to know what you don't want in life.
Yep.
No one can tell you otherwise. And I'm not saying that as a dig on anyone, but what's right for you is not right for somebody else. And that's okay. To see something you don't want to be, you can learn a lesson from that. And if the kids learn it young, why not learn it young? Like you said, like it starts with the kids. So,
okay, let's go into bodybuilding for this one, because I'm sure we have a lot of fitness people that listen.
Yes.
Who are 3 people who have been the most influential? You can know them or not know them, but just in your lives.
For me in bodybuilding, I would say I probably have more than 3. I mean, I'm a kid who lifted weights with his dad. So my dad got me into weightlifting.
That's great.
My buddy Craig, who owned a Max Muscle back in
I remember those. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Shout out to Craig Jones.
So Craig Jones. He kind of like saw that I was like into wrestling, and I would always go there and get like like I would get creatine when that was new, and I would like these are good shaker cups. These are good shaker cups.
Yes.
Max Muscle had those garbage shaker cups. Remember those? Like the top, you'd shake it, the crap would explode everywhere. You could squeeze on the side and would like pop
out all the time.
But he kind of got me into like, okay, do more like, focus in on this body part. You need to build bigger this. So I would go in the gym and kind of focus on that and kind of be more aware of just like body symmetry. And then, I mean, John De La Rosa's helped me. He helped me get me a pro card for sure, because I could help other people do it, but sometimes, you need somebody that's been through it themselves, especially at the pro level. But I mean, I used to look up to probably, I mean, Franco Colombo for sure, because I'm 5'7.5" and he's shorter than that, but it just kind of gives hope that young, shorter guys can pack on muscle and not look totally freaky and still be kind of but he was an athlete too. He was a boxer and he could deadlift the car, and he was my favorite in pumping iron. So the Cole Classic. So yeah, I would say, those guys. As far as training, Ronnie Coleman for sure. Those videos, I mean, we all love those old, dude, when YouTube first started, I think Ronnie Coleman was the one that at least for me, as being into fitness and stuff, it was Ronnie Coleman that those squat videos. And
can you imagine?
Yeah, buddy.
Baby.
Exactly. I've had the pleasure of hanging out with him now, and it's super cool just because all of these guys, they put in so much work, and you just you can't not just respect it because you do it, but they've done it better and they've done it bigger. And it just I have an immense amount of respect. So
can you imagine? Oh, just really quick. Can you imagine the fact that he was still a cop while he was fucking Mr. Olympia?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be just terrifying if he
getting pulled over? Lord. I get pulled over all the time because for a number of reasons.
Let's not talk about it.
But and I get pulled over and here's fucking Superman or more than that, the Hulk.
No, yeah, I mean, when he was at his prime, I remember he was so big that he actually went to a couple of the supplement shops in the area. He was so wide. He was wider than the shelves, the aisle of the shelves. He was actually kind of go sideways. It's a joke, but you can get so wide where your delts are so wide and everything that it's just crazy. So
I did not have that problem yet, but
I need to build that. Yeah, delts. I mean, that's the thing. Delts, legs. There's certain body parts that they add to your body frame. So if you got big shoulders, your waist looks smaller.
Right.
That's a good thing. You got big quads, your waist looks smaller.
Right.
So
big lats.
the small weight, big lats, your waist looks smaller. Generally the waist looking smaller is a good thing.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Okay, Holly, your turn.
My ladies, my first one would have to be Amanda Latona. When I first started paying attention to the industry more, because he competed, obviously in bikini, I always thought I was going to go into bikini if I ever did it, because I did not think I had the muscle to do figure. So I was watching those and I loved Amanda. She was my favorite on stage, her body, her muscle, her shape. The women in my family have big hips. So I just knew I'm a pear shape and I got the butt down there. So I looked to her because she had this nice round butt. And I had the pleasure of meeting her one time. I was changing my baby on the floor of the theater where they were competing
at the 2010 SAC
show. She was competing that show too. So I'm changing my daughter and she came by and I'm oh my God, this is my chance. So I'm Amanda, I had to tell you I'm such a fan. I love you. And she said that she was a fan of me because I was a mom. Oh. And I just I just had a moment there and I was on cloud nine forever. So Amanda, and so watching her, I really fell in love with the sport because of her and just watching her. So she was number one. Number two was when I started posing training for my first show. One of the trainers at the time at our club named Danielle DeLorifus, her name is Danielle Hall now. She got married and had a little baby. She was my posing coach and she was the one that really put into my head that no, you have the muscle. No, you should go for figure.
She told her you could turn pro.
She's you could be a pro. And she told me years ago that I could be on the Olympia stage. And back then I'm shit. No, I'm I'm a mom. No.
Sometimes words of encouragement.
And she never let me forget that. She would always oh gosh, your shape is amazing. She would work with me on my posing. She was my first posing coach. I owe her everything because she put it in my head early that I would have this title now. And honestly, with obviously you were integral, him first and foremost and whatever, but Danielle, she put it in my head and made me really believe that I could get there someday.
That's really nice. That's nice.
Oh, I love her so much. And my last one would be Nicole Wilkins.
Yeah, Nicole's great.
I had the pleasure of doing a couple years ago, I went through like a really chubby phase, and it was an off season. It was like
she knew she had to gain weight, so like she was really pushing the food.
I gained it sloppy, with donuts and stuff that I would never really eat.
Not a good way to bulk.
Don't do that. Don't make that mistake.
That's a people think that though.
Don't dirty bulk.
Don't dirty bulk.
If I'm gonna bulk, I'm just gonna eat anything. It's like no.
You will feel terrible. You're not gonna gain. You're gonna gain the chunky
It'll
fat,
metabolically
not the muscle.
hurt you. So that's the thing too. Is like it will damage you metabolically, and you will have a hard time then preserving the amount of muscle tissue.
Yes.
Yeah.
So no dirt, like the song "Dirty Bass." No dirty bulk. Dirty bulk. No dirty bulk.
Okay.
So I was feeling really bad, and I think I was scrolling Instagram or something, and I saw that she was hosting a fat loss challenge, and she does these challenges on her page. And so I signed up because I'm like, okay, I don't want to compete right now. I just wasn't feeling a show. I don't know what we had going on, but I'm like, I needed that goal or that thing to be accountable for. So I signed up, I paid my entry fee, and so I just got in the plan, and I was following the diet and all that, and I was doing really well. And then the opportunity to compete at the DR, the Dominican Republic Coat of Arms, was coming up, and Sean was going to be there because that was John De La Rosa and Victor Martinez's show that they were hosting. So Sean
they just wanted me to help because like I speak a little Spanish, so that's useful, and then also like to help with the business and backstage.
Right. Yeah. So I'm training for Nicole's challenge, and then I continued with the challenge, but also sort of pivoted like, well, this show is happening. We were going to go for vacation, but I'm feeling good. Let's just keep going. So the weight loss started, and it kickstarted her into like show training. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll just keep going to a show. But in one of the worst weeks I've ever felt as far as prep goes, I found out that week that I won the challenge for Nicole. So my prize was to go meet her for the weekend in Temecula, where she lives. And I got to do a photo shoot, and I did a workout with her that we filmed.
Oh, great.
I learned so much from her, not just about fitness and figure or, fitness, but also figure, my division that we compete in, but also about business. Like, and as a lady boss, like she was like everything she does, she's got clothes, she had her office, like all of her challenges that she hosts. I don't remember if she said how many she hosts a year, but she's got multiple challenges throughout the year, and people flock to do these things. She's got hundreds of participants. Like the culture and the squad that she's created is just amazing. So I learned a lot about business.
And it's cool too, because not a lot of people that I know outside of their competing can really parlay that into something that can make them money consistently. It's I'm an IFBB Pro, and I was like,
that's great.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna get money because of that. It's like, like what are you doing? And so, but it's awesome to see her, and I mean, she's amazing. She's Miss Olympia many times over.
Right.
Just she's so beautiful, and I love.
And that's the thing. Like she was my idol as Miss Olympia because I admired her physique and her look, and I just thought she was flawless, and she was what I wanted to look like when I turned a figure. But then getting to know her like on this other side as a businesswoman was just like she's the greatest human alive. Love her like Queen Nicole Wilkins. So that's my third one.
Good.
All right. Thank you guys. Let us actually, I'll one more question. If you could step into my shoes, is there anything that you would have asked you guys that I didn't ask you guys?
I have one I thought of.
Okay.
It's not really a deep question, but it's a fun one.
Okay.
Which is what is usually in our PERFORMA shaker. Like,
okay.
Yeah. If you want to know.
Yeah. So we have this is like, we've been doing this actually since we moved to Florida. So our life is very heavy around like, PERFORMA shakers, perfect shakers, and
throughout the day,
because we wake up and we drink water, obviously, but we've been training fasted to stay like metabolically flexible.
Okay.
We know we're not going to get in all the meals with construction. I've been traveling back and forth to California. So we've been doing a little pre-workout in there with a little dash of salt, which actually helps a lot with muscular contraction and like vascularity. Right. It just really, really helps. Like if you're feeling weak, maybe you need a little bit of salt.
How much salt are we talking?
Like 2 dashes, like bang, bang.
Pre-workout.
Oh, okay. Not like a scoop or something.
No, not a lot. That would taste gross.
But even a little bit of salt,
but
like
enough
you
to
can
where
feel
you can like.
It tastes kind of salty. Yeah, exactly.
But
Like not a like crazy salty margarita, but like
right.
Little
Okay.
But yeah, once we added the salt to my pre-workout, I think like my workouts have been elevated. Yeah. Like I never realized something so simple. And so I don't know if I could talk about my Flow guys make a pre-workout. So I represent a company called Flow. They do pre-workout also amongst some other stuff. But they were one of the first pre-workouts that I found that actually had the sodium in it already. Yeah. So I noticed that when I started taking that one, I was like, why do I feel so different? So now we're crazy and we just add extra salt on top of that. But like that was, but you don't realize how much the sodium will actually do for you in your workout. So
a lot of strength, a lot of people are lacking it. And if like you're not getting like a good form of iodine, like adding iodized salt, it might be a good idea.
Don't be afraid of salt, people.
But yeah, and then we put like hydrocharge in there during our workout and
during the day, honestly.
And during the day. Yeah. Lately we've been doing that. So
I get yelled at because I have too many of these. And
our collection, we have a wine rack.
I said you can't have too many.
No, and that's not because
sometimes I take these and I put them by my heroes and then
you take
some. You need some for just water. You need some for pre-workout. You need protein.
Exactly. I will not pre-workout in with my protein because the protein.
No, you don't want that.
It's different. Exactly. Yeah.
So you gotta know what heroes do what, and that's the way.
You can never have too many.
Exactly.
Period. Okay, tell everybody where our listeners can find you guys online, connect with you guys online.
Yeah, our website is Fitness System Health Clubs, and we like a bunch of offshoots of that, fitlodi.com, fitlandpark.com. But on Instagram, I'm IFBB Pro Sean Covell. You can find me there.
On Instagram, I am at IFBB Pro _ Holly Covell.
Okay. We'll put all these things in the show notes too, but awesome. You guys, thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting, getting to know you guys. I'm excited to where is the place going to be in South Florida?
It is right across the street from Sawgrass Mall, which is the second most
visited tourist attraction in
Florida.
Oh. What city is this?
It's Sunrise Plantation area, so it's right in between. But it's fitsawgrass.com.
Okay. If I'm in that area, which I probably will be. I do a lot of stuff in Florida, so
check it out. Florida's a boom state right now.
Yeah.
So the best
like I said, thank you guys so much. Hang on for 1 second when I wrap, and then you guys, thank you so much for listening to the PERFORMA POPcast, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.